afternoon and welcome to the Allegheny Arts Council. I'm Julie Westendorf, Executive Director here at the AAC, and it's our pleasure to have you join us today. The Allegheny Arts Council is nestled right here in the heart of downtown Cumberland, Maryland, a beautiful spot tucked in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains of Western Maryland. In addition to our vibrant arts and cultural scene, our community offers world-class outdoor recreation, vibrant architecture, and an important heritage and history. To learn more about visiting us for a weekend or staying for a lifetime, visit us at www.mdmountainside.org. Let's take a peek inside. In addition to our monthly exhibition, we also host a series of annual signature events, including the one that you see now, our 21st annual Wills Creek Exhibition of Fine Art. This exhibition is a national juried competition and features the work of more than 50 artists. In 2020, more than 400 artists applied from across the United States. This is one of our longest running shows and one of our signature programs here at the AAC. Not from Allegheny County? No problem. You can visit this year's Wills Creek competition in a variety of ways, here in our galleries located in downtown Cumberland, or online in our digital gallery located at AlleghenyArtsCouncil.org/Wills Creek. Let's take a few moments and look around this year's competition. You're now entering the Mountain Maryland Schwab Gallery, our more intimate gallery space, showcasing the work of local and emerging artists in a smaller, more private setting. This gallery also offers lots of other activities through the year and focuses beyond the visual arts, including literary programming, musical performance, theater, and dance. While we're incredibly proud of our professional gallery spaces, we also serve two important roles as a nonprofit organization in our community. Our mission is to increase awareness of and engagement in the arts, and we do that through a variety of ways, through our professional gallery opportunities, as well as through arts and education programming aimed at both our public and private school systems, through targeted programming for certain audiences, like our Young at Art program, targeting programs to 55+ community, through STEM-based education, which incorporates the arts in the traditional subjects of science, engineering, technology, and math, and through important programs like our Summer Lunchbox effort, which serves the underserved of Allegheny County. You can find us in regional libraries, fire halls, churches, and on playgrounds all across Allegheny County, or in our brand new brightly colored mobile arts platform, the Art Lab, which teaches children about the power of imagination and creativity. Although our calendars are full, we could not support the arts sector alone in Allegheny County. Each year, the Arts Council supports, through direct financial funding, more than 15 local arts organizations, providing important operational funding and opportunities for them as well. Our community and professional theater, a variety of musical groups featuring jazz and Baroque music, and many others receive support from us each year. The second critical role we play in our community as a nonprofit organization is manager of Cumberland's Arts and Entertainment District. As one of 28 designated A&E districts across the state of Maryland, our role here is to support local artists support businesses, and provide economic revitalization opportunities to rural America. For every dollar spent on arts and culture in Allegheny County, an additional $4 of revenue is generated for local businesses, proving that the arts sector is a real power player in economic revitalization. You can support us by making a one-time donation or joining us as an annual member of our organization. To learn more about how to do that, visit us at AlleghenyArtsCouncil.org. And thanks so much for joining us. Our live stream will begin in just a few moments. Good evening and welcome to the 21st Annual Wills Creek Exhibition of Fine Art Jurors Talk and Awards Presentation. I'm Julie Westendorf, your host this evening, and we are delighted that you have chosen to be with us tonight. We are coming to you live this evening via Facebook and our YouTube channel. Both can be found at Allegheny Arts Council. If you'd like to share tonight's event with your friends, family, or network, the video will remain available on YouTube after tonight's event concludes. And as a reminder, there is an interactive component this evening, and we encourage you to use the chat function available at the bottom of your screen to share your comments, feedback, or ask questions throughout the evening, or just let us know how we're doing. In normal times, tonight would be an opportunity to welcome you into our gallery and share a festive evening of food and wine and music, but things have changed a bit over the past several months. And what we've learned throughout this year is that the need for flexibility and adaptability as an arts community. We'd like to thank the 400 entrants into this year's Wills Creek competition for your patience while we navigated unprecedented challenges. And while it was difficult to do things outside of our comfort zone, we're very proud of the opportunity to be able to share both a physical exhibition here in our gallery, as well as a fantastic digital gallery online. If you haven't visited it yet, we invite you to take a few moments to learn more about our invited artists, see the works individually, and purchase art directly from the site. More than ever, supporting independent artists and their creative endeavors is critical. The Wills Creek exhibition is the longest-running signature program here at the Allegheny Arts Council, and it is our only show of the year dedicated exclusively to contemporary art. In 2020, 400 artists entered the show, and tonight we welcome 54 of them to the exhibition. Congratulations to each of you for the work included in this year's show. This year, the exhibition featured a theme at a time when the word shelter has developed new meaning in all of our lives. The theme explores the ideas of protection, cover, food, and safety for those who may be homeless, orphaned, or abandoned. And while those ideas may feel bleak, shelter also represents home, space for refuge, and comfort in loved ones. The artwork in this year's show represents a broad spectrum of mediums, including painting, photography, mixed media, and even installation. But what truly surprised us was the optimism found in the works themselves. As the boxes and crates began to arrive here, out of them came a wonderful surprise. The show, you will see, is bright and bold with crisp and clean lines, promising us that in spite of what we are collectively facing, hope springs eternal. I'm very excited to introduce you tonight to our 2020 juror, Jessica Beck, who had a Herculean task of selecting our awardees and our invited artists. But before we do that, let's take a few moments to recognize some very special people who make this year's show possible. As a membership organization, the Allegheny Arts Council is supported through volunteers and the work of committees who lead our efforts throughout the year. The Wills Creek Committee, co-chaired by Ann Townsell and Sandy Seville, tirelessly works throughout the year to champion and advocate for this show, each year identifying a talented and inspired juror and securing the necessary financial support to make the competition possible. Congratulations, Wills Creek Committee, and thank you to each and every member of the committee for your hard work and dedication. Each year, the Wills Creek exhibition awards more than $4,000 in prize funds to its winners, and these funds are generated through the gracious financial support of our sponsors. Thank you to each of you for your commitment to supporting this event, particularly in this challenging year, and for ensuring that our galleries continue to attract top quality artistic talent from across the United States. And finally, I want to take a moment to thank the team here at the Allegheny Arts Council, who for more than 5 months have reimagined, reworked, and learned new skills to make tonight possible. With so much of their work often serving behind the scenes, it is important to acknowledge in front of the camera how much each and every one of you is appreciated. And finally, thank you to Allegheny Media, our behind-the-scenes partner in making the transition to virtual programming. I'm really thrilled tonight to introduce you to our 2020 juror, Ms. Jessica Beck. Jessica currently serves as the Milton Fine Art Curator at the Andy Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where she frequently manages and curates projects like the powerful Andy Warhol, My Perfect Body in 2016, along with many others. She is frequently published by institutions like the Whitney Museum of American Art, the Cantor Center for the Arts, and Burlington Magazine. And in her spare time, if much of it remains, she has been a visiting scholar at the Carnegie Mellon School of Art and previously worked at the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Gardens in Washington, D.C. As I was reading about Jessica's accomplishments, I ran across an article on the Carnegie Museums of Pittsburgh entitled Art in the Time of Crisis. The article, featured in the summer 2020 edition, talks about how art has played a pivotal role during global pandemics and moments of crisis throughout history. But one particular thing Jessica said in the article really resonated. She stated, "It takes a certain amount of time and distance to fully see and understand art that comes from a crisis, just as it takes that same time and distance for us to understand what took place during the crisis, whether it be war, economic depression, or health-related emergency." I don't believe her words could any better encapsulate the spirit of tonight's show and theme and remind us that viewing these works now, but perhaps much later again in the future, may change our perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Pittsburgh this evening, please join me in welcoming our 2020 juror, Ms. Jessica Beck.
Hi, everyone. Julie.
Hi, Jessica. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
We're great. We're so delighted to have you with us.
Yeah, sorry about that. Came into the office because I wanted to make sure my Wi-Fi was good, and they turned the lights out on me, so the lights are back on. So I'm at the museum.
Live shows always come with surprises, so thanks for being patient.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and your team is incredible. And so I just want to start by thanking everyone. You can hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Okay. But Anne, I've worked with in the past on this experience, so I have to start by thanking her. And Julie, you've been amazing from start to finish, and I'm so impressed with how the show looks. It's really wonderful to see it. Sam and Ryan, who is doing all of the tech on this amazing live performance tonight. So thank you for that introduction. And I had a really amazing time working on this project, and actually started the exhibition thinking about the frame of the theme with Anne over the summer. And we were all thinking about the pandemic and what this time at home means for everyone, and how maybe we can start to reimagine what home is all about. So I've had a lot of time at home. I know that many of you have had a lot of time at home, but it's helped me to sort of reevaluate my goals and relationships and what I'm committed to. And I've had a lot of conversations with artists here in Pittsburgh. And so I've really gotten to see people start thinking differently about their practice. People have to start reimagining what the world is about. I mean, instead of meeting in person for this event, we're all doing this live stream together. So I think what I really noticed from the artist submissions was a sense of intimacy and comfort and a bit of loss maybe during this time. So that was something really nice to see, and something I somewhat expected, just given the climate. But I've been at the Warhol for 6 years now. It's kind of flown by in a way. And as Julie mentioned, I came from DC. I actually grew up outside of Pittsburgh. I traveled around a lot. And then after grad school, I ended up in Washington and was at the Hirshhorn for 4 years and came here to Pittsburgh. So I've been here for about 6 years now. And as Julie mentioned, I've been able to do a lot of really great research on Warhol and some of these new ideas, and thinking about Warhol's late career, thinking about his religious paintings, thinking about the AIDS crisis, which now has a lot of relevancy for how we're thinking about the pandemic and public health and a public health crisis. So um, I did have some slides, and I think we were going to show them, but on the project that I'm working on now. So I just wanted to give everyone a little sample of what's coming up here at the Warhol Museum in the fall of 2021. And it's this exhibition about Marisol Escobar. She is a Venezuelan artist that was born in Paris and lived most of her career in New York. And she knew Warhol in the 60s. She was actually famous before him in New York, and they became close friends and working companions, and they sort of took New York by storm in the early 60s. And like many female artists, especially international or foreign artists, she was somewhat written out of the history. So a lot of people don't remember her name very often when they think of the pop movement. But Ryan, if you could go to the next slide on the PowerPoint. There we go. But this is what some of her 60s sculpture looked like. And this is a portrait she did of Warhol titled Andy in 1962. And then she also did this really amazing piece called The Dinner Date, which is essentially her having dinner with herself. And so it looks a lot, the exhibition will look at the role of women in New York at this time, thinking of women coming out of the home structure and into the workforce. There's a lot of pressure on Marisol as a contemporary artist in interviews to talk about her love life, or will she marry? Will she have children? So she then does this self portrait of herself having dinner alone, having dinner with herself, which I think is a real response to that. You can go ahead to the next slide. And this is a really beautiful screenshot of a film that Warhol made in 1963. And you have in the front John Giorno, the poet, and John is the person that is sleeping in Warhol's 1963 film Sleep. Marisol in the center, and then you have Wynne Chamberlain in the back there, and he's a poet. And they are all at Eleanor Ward's summer home, and Eleanor Ward owned and started the Stable Gallery, which is a really important gallery in the 60s. You can go to the next slide. And this is another screenshot of another film that Warhol shot in 1963 of Marisol in her studio with one of her sculptures. And so these films people have never really seen, and they're the silent films that Warhol was making in the early 60s. And so it's a real look at when Warhol became a famous filmmaker. Just before becoming a famous filmmaker, what was he doing? And he was making films of some of his closest friends, people like Marisol Escobar. So you can go to the next slide. And in the exhibition, I have secured loans of Marisol's work, which is all over the US and also internationally. And it's been a feat and a triumph to do during this pandemic time. But the exhibition will feature these films and then the sculptures that are in the films. So we can do one more slide, and then maybe I will and go two more slides. There's a piece called The Party that I wanted to show everyone. One more. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, so in 1966, Marisol made this epic installation piece called The Party, and it was featured at Sidney Janis Gallery in New York, and it attracted thousands of visitors. One of the days in particular attracted something like 2,000 visitors to the exhibition. So she had a major press from this piece. It's all her face on each one of these figures. It has a tiny television in one of the heads. It has a radio in one of the other heads. So it's this really kind of expansive thinking on installation and pop sculpture and identity and what it is to be a woman in the 1960s in New York. So this will be here in Pittsburgh in the fall. And hopefully in the fall next year and October, we won't need to social distance in the same way. And all of you can come to Pittsburgh and see this exhibition. And if you can't come to Pittsburgh next fall, it will be traveling to Miami at the Perez Museum in Miami in April 2022. So that's a little sneak peek, like an inside look at what the exhibition is that I've been planning for 4 years now, actually. It's been a long time. But during the pandemic, I've been working on the exhibition catalog, and we've been working on securing all of these loans and getting it ready for next fall. And then it will then travel to Miami at the Perez Art Museum in Florida. So I'm really excited to meet the winners of this evening. And I do hope that many of the artists that submitted their work are tuning in. And I can't see you, but you can see me. And I was really fascinated by the depth and the variety of work. And it's really lovely to see the installation virtually. Some of the pieces I didn't realize were so large. So it's a blind kind of experience when you're doing it online. But I'm very excited to meet the people that I selected for the awards. I thought there was a lot of really interesting work in that group of people that I narrowed it down to. And I just feel really appreciative and grateful for this evening and for all of the hard work that's gone into this. And for the artists that have not been to see this space in person, you must someday travel there because it's very beautiful. There's really beautiful landscape around. And I think it was 3 years ago that I co-juried a show at Wills Creek. So thank you. I won't take up any more time because we do want to hear from the artists and we want to hear more from Julie and this really great program show. So thank you, everyone. And to the artists, I just want to say as well, keep using this time to rethink your creativity and to sort of reimagine, because I think right now the challenges that are being presented both politically and with the climate are forcing all of us to reimagine what it is to be alive today. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Jessica. Your work and your research at the Warhol is incredible. I actually also come from DC and very familiar with the Hirshhorn. And we're very excited to plan a trip to Pittsburgh. So hopefully that we will be able to come see that fantastic exhibition next year. I wanted to invite you to partner with me tonight, Jessica, to announce the winners of our 21st competition. And I'm sure that it was incredibly challenging for you to whittle down the entries from 400, but unlike other years, to have the added complexity of evaluating the entries only from a digital format. It is quite a different experience, I'm sure. So we have 5 awardees this evening, and we will start by announcing the winner and the title of the piece to you. For those of you watching, you'll be able to see the image on your screen. And then we have some very special guests who are joining us live tonight, and we'll have a chance to hear a little bit about their inspiration for their works, as well as a few comments from you, Jessica, about why these particular pieces resonated with you, okay? Mm-hmm. So our first award of the evening is for honorable mention category, and I know this particular piece has caused quite a stir here in the gallery. It's gotten a lot of comments and a lot of praise. So we're very excited tonight to announce the recipient of our honorable mention award goes to Ann Harkness of Mooresville, North Carolina, for her work, Neighborhood Watchdog. Congratulations, Ann. I think we have Ann with us tonight.
I'm here.
Hi, Ann. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about this piece and what inspired you in creating it?
A friend sent me this photograph. It's of an apartment in Brooklyn, New York. And they sent it to me before the pandemic. And I felt I needed to paint it during the pandemic because it was just perfect.
Well, it has such a great feeling to it, and it's a shame that people can't see it in person because you definitely get that sense. Jessica, what was it about this piece that spoke to you?
Yeah, I kept coming back to this one. I did a lot of passes on the photo bank of all the submissions. I just wanted to take it seriously because I know everyone spends a lot of time working on this work. So I just wanted to make sure I picked really good work. But this painting I just thought was so sweet. And it just catches that moment that we've all been going through since March of kind of peering out the window. But I just love that you can tell that the dog is sort of looking down. It looks, like he's watching all the activity sort of longingly on the street below. And the curtain is just so great because it's this moment when like the gust of wind has come in maybe to the room, which feels like a nice breath in a way. And breath seems all the more important these days. But that curtain moment just reminds me of these really great painters. Like there's a painting at the National Gallery by Andrew Wyeth of just a curtain on a window one day in the afternoon that he painted. So I just thought it was very tender and sweet. And clearly now you say that it's Brooklyn, it's the cityscape. And it looks as if potentially it could feel claustrophobic outside, but it doesn't feel that way in the painting itself because of the palette that you used. And it's just very tender, like this little dog head looking down, kind of capturing how that sort of ethos that we've all been experiencing of like longingly looking at the activity outside of our homes. So I just thought it was so sweet and the sort of perfect note for the moment of what we're doing. So,
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm truly honored.
I don't know what the scale is, but it looks like it's a really nice scale, like the way that it comes across.
It's I think it's 24 by 30 something. I don't recall.
Yeah.
It's not enormous.
Mm-hmm. Because I do this blind, I don't see the artist's name and I don't see your name. So I'm just wondering, does this fit into the rest of your practice or was this kind of an anomaly for you?
It's a little bit of an anomaly. I usually hang out in the town scenes, city scenes, and I also have a chair series that is really probably my favorite. Mm-hmm. But in a way, that's sort of a still life. This is a little still life setting in a way. And I seem to really like lines and graphics. So we used to live in Manhattan. So I knew that these window gates are typical of city life and that, that feeling of being confined that you see in pets in the city is how we're all feeling a little bit now.
Well, it's beautiful.
It truly is. And congratulations to you, Anne. Please remember that all of these works are for sale. I know each and every one of the artists would sincerely appreciate selling a work. I also want to remind our audience that you can put your comments in our chat box, including questions, and hopefully we'll have a bit of time towards the end to answer some that you have. So congratulations again, Anne. We so appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
One should buy this.
Okay, so our next award tonight is for our third place prize, and that represents our best hope for the future, which is children. And this particular artist is near and dear to us in our community because she's local and based out of Flintstone, Maryland. So congratulations this evening to photographer Penny Noble Besa for her very inspiring work entitled The Helper. Penny, are you with us tonight?
Hi, Penny.
I'm here.
Hi, Penny.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Hi, Thank you. What an honor. Real surprise.
Well, tell us a little bit about this one.
big delay.
That's okay.
A street of charming girls walking in the lobby of the British Museum. There's one charming child after it, but then those two helping. I enjoy youth and those natural moments, and it comes from their natural being of each other.
Jessica, what was it about this one that resonated with you?
Seeing this photograph and just thinking about the climate right now and sort of the almost kitsch quality of our the way that politics are playing out online and in the media. And so I sort of read this almost a bit in a way. It reminded me of a Diane Arbus photograph, and Diane Arbus was famous for taking photographs of people on the streets in the UK and friends, but they have a little bit of darkness to them, almost a surreal quality. And the two young girls feel kind of out of place in that crowd in their outfits, and just almost as if they're from another time. And so that kind of juxtaposition, especially with there's like a young woman to the left that has jeans and a hoodie on, and she's standing next to these two girls that have these flat hats and little cardigans that look like they're from a completely different reality. And seeing them juxtaposed together, it kind of created this sort of surreal photograph to me. And also there's the gesture of the one sister grabbing the other by the arm, and she's kind of blinking her eyes or wincing her eyes a bit at that gesture. And so there's a lot of things happening in the photograph that I thought were interesting. And I just thought with their twin outfits, and they just feel like maybe they're from a different era and maybe a different political era. And that seemed to resonate with me right now with how we're thinking about the way that politics are framed in the world. And then also thinking about what this is doing, the way that we digest media, the way that we digest politics, what kind of effect that is having on the younger generation and on children. Um, so I thought that the photograph packed in a lot of interesting messaging and a lot of interesting action of eye contact, and different people. There's almost like a triangle effect of figures in the photograph. So that's why I kept coming back to this one.
Well, Penny, we're delighted for you, and congratulations. So our
Thank you
next
very much.
Oh, thank you, and thanks for your patience. We're live, folks, so thank you for your patience while we sort through a few technical challenges. Good night, Penny. Our next award tonight is for our second place winner and is a piece that immediately captivated the attention of our gallery team here as we installed this year's show. For some reason, it brought to mind a safe and nostalgic memory of our childhood and playing with our friends. Congratulations tonight to Frederick, Maryland-based artist Cheryl Massaro for her beautiful piece entitled Red Slide, Devil's Backbone State Park. Cheryl, congratulations. Are you with us tonight?
I am. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
I'm glad it was appreciated. I love the theme of this show. And I'm very glad that other people recognize this image of a slide and what it means to a lot of us.
What was it about this one that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I love. Oh, sorry.
Please.
Me or Cheryl? Okay, me.
Jessica.
Okay. I loved this painting one because for me it has many layers. It's not just the slide. And especially now seeing this image, I kept thinking about the empty playgrounds, at least in my neighborhood here in Pittsburgh.
Right.
They had these playgrounds all taped off with caution tape during the beginning of the pandemic. So there was almost this sense of like, not only can we not really socialize, but kids can't play outside on the playgrounds, sort of heartbreaking. So seeing this kind of lonely red slide, it's sort of sad, but the juxtaposition of your palette of this red slide and this Devil's Backbone title of, I know it's just the state park, but it also has a sense of this deep, intense red tongue coming out of that tree or something for me. But I just love the contrast of the palette, the deep, intense red with the green grass and the green foliage around it. But for me, thinking about this idea of sheltering in place and home and family and the loneliness of some of that right now, and then also feeling the connectedness. But in this painting in particular, it resonated with me of thinking of these empty playgrounds that I've seen in my neighborhoods, and kind of this idea of a quiet moment in nature, but this kind of empty slide. There's no swing set next to it. There's no sandbox. It's just this red kind of lonely slide in this tree forest scene.
I think what I like best about it, the whole scene, is that there was a very rushing stream alongside the little park area. And it's as if the whole world is kind of, and it was a beautiful breezy day. So it was as if everything around this slide was moving. And this was like the anchor for childhood.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great
Thank
piece.
you.
And it's also small and it feels really delicate.
Yeah.
So,
I rarely paint that small. Yeah.
well, thank you. We're so pleased that you were able to be with us tonight and participate in the live stream. And we hope to see you around these parts.
Hey, thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
So we're going to move on to our next awardee, and I believe this is our second place winner, if I'm not mistaken. And this award is presented to another photographer who captured a very powerful scene, leaving at least some of us here to wonder what's behind the eyes of a child. And please forgive me, this is the first place awardee. And we'd like to congratulate and welcome tonight from Lake Forest, California, the artist Sandra Chen Weinstein for her piece titled Sweet Dream from Refuge in America. Congratulations, Sandra. I think we have you with us tonight.
Yes, thank you so much. An
welcome.
incredible honor.
Well, thank you. Your piece is lovely. Tell us a little bit about it.
This is the project that I was developed when I was working and assisting for National Geographic one point, that it was helping the teen from the refugee from war-torn country, mainly in Africa. And after that, I developed my own personal project. And this was done in Houston, and it's quite a documentary project that I have done. And the work is really trying to lead the viewer attention to a critical social issue. And I document several families from Congo, Somalia, and other places in Africa. And they came into America as asylums. During that time, they were given visa, and they are slowly adapting the new home. So the first image that I was submitted was called New Home. Despite they are living in America, you can see the house. They are still decorated and equipped with their own, way of living. They do not have a real physical furniture. They have a lot of curtains and rug, and so they are slowly adapting new home through social service with a resettlement program, and the young children goes to the ESL program to learn English. And despite this great opportunity for them to adapt it at home in America, they're still struggle with their internal emotional turmoil of finding the roots at home in America. And because there are so many social rooted cultural differential from America. And so basically the play of Refugee has immensely impact on our human landscape. And many refugees still need shelter. And during this very special year, with so many critical issues arise due to the COVID pandemic, we're still experiencing a lot of unjust social issue, that including Black Lives Matters and gender equality. And currently, there are about 26 million refugees globally in the world, and 46.5 million are internally displaced refugee in the world. And U.S., we have 3 million of refugees. 3 million of refugees that we don't really see them unless you look harder. So they're very hidden in our, so-called pop cultures in a lot of ways. So I really want to raise this issue to read acquaintance to our people in the audience and the viewers that we, as a human being in our society, we need to provide home and love to others than just ourselves, especially during this very trying time. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's very powerful. Jessica, tell us what you think on this one.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for your words and for that message. And because it is very important. And just seeing this image again fresh, because I haven't seen some of these in a few weeks now, it hits me again of her eye contact, this young girl. Oh, it's so strong. So, yeah, I mean, this piece in particular, just given the climate, the political climate, the murder and death of George Floyd, and then how that has ignited another crisis of looking closely at the racial issues in America and the Black Lives Matter movement. And so just seeing this photograph of this young girl looking through a window directly at the viewer with this power in her eyes felt extremely poignant given this moment and the climate. And again, thinking about the youth and how these things are impacting the youth, and hopefully maybe all of this unrest will lead to a stronger younger generation. I'm not sure. That's the optimism in me for this, but I just thought this young Black girl looked so powerful, but also her eyes tell a story of difficulty as well, and maybe perhaps a bit of struggle. So I thought that was really an important image to think of right now at this moment. And I thought from a photography standpoint, it's just a really powerful photograph and executed very well with the way the reflection catches the car in the left corner, perhaps across the street from her. But her eyes sort of pierce through the glass and then also to the viewer. So I thought it was an important one for this climate. I was really happy to see it in the mix in this show. And especially, I didn't know the background of the refugee story with this. And that's even another layer of importance when we're thinking about home and being uprooted and not having a sense of belonging, of culture and also place, and what that can mean for people. And so that's even another layer of importance to the image. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jessica.
Congratulations again, Sandra. Really
Thank you,
appreciate the
Julie.
important piece in the show. Well, we're down to our final awardee tonight, and I'm very excited to introduce to you our Best in Show winner, who will receive $1,500 in prize money. This is a very small work, and it intrigued us right from the beginning. And while it's diminutive in size, it leaves the viewer with a wide range of thoughts and emotions. We're very excited and want to congratulate our 2020 Best in Show winner for her piece titled Silence from Washington, D.C., photographer Kelly Bell. Congratulations, Kelly.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Kelly, I have to tell you, out of all the bios that I read and the photograph that you sent to us of yourself, was one of the most fun that I've seen. And I loved your story about your artistic practice. Tell us a little bit about this image and the story behind it.
Yeah, sure. So this photo was actually taken in an Airbnb. It was our first trip up to see my parents after, March, everything shut down. We all started social distancing, and this photo was taken at the end of July. We finally decided to take a trip up to Massachusetts to see my parents. We drove straight 8 hours, and we drove overnight so my daughter would sleep. So it was a long drive. And then we checked into an Airbnb instead of staying with them so that we could keep some extra distance. And then this is a scene from the morning, waking up in that Airbnb, everyone exhausted after a long drive, and just kind of seeing that messy bed and that crooked light fixture. And I just thought, that's a really pretty frame, and I just want to capture that because it just feels calming.
Jessica, what inspired this one? And just for our viewers, this is a really small piece, which doesn't quite convey in the digital gallery. Jessica, what was it about this one that had you select it for Best in Show?
Yeah, I actually loved this photo, and then I think another photo that you submitted of a young girl like looking down from a second story window to an outside activity, and accidentally picked it twice, picked two of them. So I just loved that interior moment for what's happening right now for me. The way that it came across in the photograph was everything that's happening, which is everything is sort of askew and upside down and crooked, like the light fixture and the curtain kind of lassoed around that candle kind of cheap light fixture. The air conditioning unit in the corner, also thinking of the heat wave moment that California is having, and then the heat wave. We had a moment of heat wave here in Pittsburgh, a week in the hundreds, which is really kind of abnormal for us. And that bed, which is empty and has the imprint of more than one person in that bed. So I just loved that it was this tender, intimate scene, and for me captured a lot of emotion around what is happening now. And also it just feels like a everyday moment that was captured, which I think is what I love sometimes in photography, something that's not too staged, that is fleeting, a moment that is fleeting as well. So I almost wish that people could see the other photograph too, because for me it's almost like your work fits together in a series, in a way of storytelling, of interior space and family and distance, and also divide that's happening right now. So I thought it was almost like a little tiny haiku, like it packs in a lot of emotion and messaging for me. But it's a really simplistic image in many ways, of just a snapshot of the bed with this curtain and the light fixture tilted to the side. And so it just resonated for me on many levels, and your other photographs also resonated with me, of what's happening right now. And I thought for this moment, this one struck me as kind of different than the others, and beautiful in a more simple sort of way.
Thank you.
Well, Kelly, congratulations. We hope to see you back again at our Wills Creek competition, as well as all of the other artists. I don't know if we have received any questions tonight, but we do have a few moments. I understand we don't have any in our queue just now. Oh, we do have a few. Okay, great. So if you'll bear with us for just a minute, we'll get to some of your questions. And these can be questions to our juror, can be questions to our individual artists. Please feel free to ask what you'd like. I'm just waiting for these to load up, so if you'll give us just a brief moment. Okay, so our very first question tonight comes from social media. It is from Lita Havens, and her comment is, great selection of winning images. Congratulations to all of the winners. Lita, we could not agree more. Some of the other comments, wow, powerful image. Another social media from Teresa Stahl. So meaningful and inspiring. Thank you all for sharing this event online, and congratulations to all of the artists. I'm especially happy for our local winner, Penny Noble Besa. Thank you, Teresa. From Janet Levy, I loved the all white piece. I think, Kelly, she's talking about your piece.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. So we don't have any other questions, so we want to conclude our evening by thanking you for taking part of your evening to be with us. And note that there is one additional award that we will be presenting, which is our People's Choice Award. That will be given at the conclusion of this year's exhibition, which is on September the 20th. Sorry, I don't know when the end of it is. I forget. But you can cast your vote by sending us a message on our Facebook account at Allegheny Arts Council, along with the date the event concludes. So you can start sending us your votes tonight and continue throughout the exhibition. So get your friends and your family, and let's have a great competition for that. Before we close out tonight, I would like to ask you to make note of our 22nd annual Wills Creek competition, which is scheduled to take place September 4th through October 2nd of 2021. And if you'd like to keep up with all of our calls for entry, you can do so by subscribing to our newsletter online. Finally, if you're an artist with interest in exhibiting here in the Seville or Schwab galleries, you'd like to make a donation or join our growing membership family, please bookmark us at www.alleghenyartscouncil.org, where you can stay up to date on all of our activities, exhibitions, events, and programs. Thank you all once again, and thank you to our 2020 juror, Jessica Beck, for a wonderful evening. Congratulations to all of the invited artists this year, and thanks to each and every one of you for making us part of your evening. Good night.